Warning. The program you're about to watch contains explicit language and descriptions of adult themes and graphic violence that people may find disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Mira returned home, her heart still warm from the evening. Meanwhile, Kajito finished cleaning up, but the thought of her lingered in his mind. Unable to resist, he quietly slipped out, his footsteps light as he made his way to her house. A few soft knocks echoed against Mira's door. Her heart leaped as she hurried to open it, her lips curling into a smile the moment she saw him. "Kajito," she whispered, delighted. "I had to sneak out," he admitted, grinning. "Let's make my scolding worth it." He turned to leave, but Mira quickly shut the door behind her. "Wait," she called out, rushing to his side. Together they walked through the quiet night, their pace unhurried as if savoring the stolen time. Soon they arrived at the lake again. The water shimmered beneath the moonlight, reflecting a silver glow. "This is so pretty," Kajito murmured, taking in the sight. "You mean the fireflies?" Mira asked, watching the golden lights flicker in the air. "No, the lake," Kajito said with sarcasm. "The water is just so... water," he smirked. Mira giggled at his playful remark. The soft hum of the night surrounded them as they each cupped their hands, capturing a firefly. Then, with a shared glance, they brought their hands together, releasing the tiny creatures at the same time. The fireflies drifted up, their lights blinking in harmony. "Did you know fireflies glow when they communicate with each other?" Mira said, watching them disappear into the night. Kajito chuckled. "So their asses shine when they talk?" Mira burst into laughter. "When you say it like that, it sounds ridiculous." "What a way to communicate." "I prefer words and lips," Kajito teased. Mira's laughter softened. "Me too." Mira hinting at him. She hesitated for a moment, her gaze flickering to his lips. Kajito noticed, his heart quickening as he leaned in just enough to close the distance. Their first kiss was gentle, lingering. Kajito instinctively pulled her in as they wrapped each other with their arms. When they pulled apart, Mira's expression was filled with emotion, and Kajito let out a shaky breath. I forgot what I was going to say," he admitted, trying to steady himself. Mira smiled. "There's more than words to show someone how you feel." She reached for his hand, intertwining their fingers. They both lifted their hands slightly, marveling at the way they fit together. The moment felt fragile, yet deeply real. After a beat, Mira released his hand and wrapped her arms around him, resting her head against his chest. His heartbeat was steady beneath her ear. "I can hear your heart," she whispered. "That's because I'm still alive," Kajito joked. She smiled against him, holding him tighter. But before the warmth of the moment could settle, a shadow moved in the trees. Without warning, the witch from before emerged from the darkness, her presence crackling with dark energy. Before either of them could react, she seized Kajito, one hand gripping his arm, the other tightening around his throat. Mira's eyes widened in horror. "Let him go!" she cried. The witch's eyes burned with vengeance. "No," she snarled. "He was supposed to be mine." Kajito tried to steal a glance at the witch, but she caught on instantly. A wicked grin spread across her face as she leaned in close, her breath hot against his skin. Kajito recoiled, his heart hammering. "You have ugly, old, bumpy skin and nasty teeth. You're a witch!" he shrieked. The witch let out a cackling laugh. "Sounds like you've watched too many movies." "No, my uncle." Kajito started, but the witch's hand shot forward, gripping his throat in an iron hold. "Shut up," she hissed. He gagged, clawing at her fingers, but she was already chanting. Dark energy crackled around her as she prepared to cast a spell. Before she could finish, a burst of light struck her shoulder, knocking her back. The witch's grip loosened, and Kajito stumbled away, gasping for air. His eyes darted toward the source. Mira stood tall, her hands still glowing with magic. The witch scowled and lunged at Mira. Their battle began, magic colliding in flashes of blue and red. Kajito watched in awe, paralyzed by the sheer power of their fight. He knew he should help, but how? Frantically, he ran for cover. His hand brushed against a rock, and without thinking, he picked it up. As the witches momentarily disengaged, he hurled the rock with all his might. It smacked the witch square in the head. Kajito's eyes widened in shock. He hadn't expected to actually hit her. The witch snapped her head toward him, her expression murderous. She leaped at him, but Mira intercepted with a flying kick, forcing her back. The battle intensified. Both witches chanted spells, their magic colliding mid-air, pushing against each other in a deadly struggle. Kajito could see it. Mira was losing. Panic surged through him. His eyes darted around until he spotted a thick branch on the ground. He grabbed it, sprinted forward, and swung with all his strength. The branch cracked against the witch's back. It didn't hurt her, but it was enough to break her concentration. In that split second, Mira's magic struck true, sending the witch flying. The air grew thick with the smell of burning flesh. The witch screamed as fire consumed her, reducing her to ash. Kajito stared, frozen in place. Mira's voice snapped him back to reality. Kajito. He shook himself out of his daze. What the hell was that? He stuttered. A witch, Mira said simply. Then what does that make you? He asked, still trying to wrap his head around it. A witch too, she admitted. No way. He paused, looking her over. But you're so pretty, not like her. She used cursed magic. It takes a toll on the body, Mira explained. If you hadn't distracted her, she would have overpowered me. Her magic was stronger than mine. Oh man, Kajito exhaled. So, what kind of magic do you use? Standard witchcraft, elemental magic, and martial arts. Whoa. He was still trying to process everything. What happens if you use cursed magic? I'd start to look like her. Ew. Yeah, let's not do that, Kajito said, shaking his head. Mira chuckled. There's a way to counterbalance cursed magic. Oh yeah? How? There's only one known case in history. A witch who changed her form after experiencing a tragic event or a powerful emotion. That transformation counteracted the curse without destroying her body. She was the one who ended the witch hunts. Kajito's mind raced. So, to use cursed magic without the side effects, you have to change your form to protect yourself? Mira shrugged. I'm not 100% sure. It's never happened again. I guess that makes sense, Kajito said, still deep in thought. Then, with a smirk, he added, well, one thing's for sure. My girlfriend is an awesome witch. Mira blinked. Wait, you're not scared of me? Kajito grinned. Are you kidding? I'm terrified. I'm shitting my pants right now. Mira's eyes flicked downward. Are you joking? Duh. I'm not afraid of you or any witch, except for the ugly ones. Mira laughed. You're surprisingly light-hearted for someone who just fought a witch. That's just how I roll, Kajito said, striking a cool pose. Mira shook her head with a smile. All right, gangster. They laughed as they made their way back to Mira's house. Before parting ways, she leaned in close. Don't tell anyone I'm a witch, okay? My people aren't liked around here. Sounds like they're not liked anywhere, Kajito muttered. Then, flashing a reassuring smile, he added, But don't worry, your secret's safe with me. Thanks, Mira said. She stepped forward, closing the space between them. Their eyes met, and Kajito fumbled his words. Would you mind if I kiss me? Mira giggled and leaned in, silencing him with a kiss. Good night, she whispered, then disappeared into her house. Kajito stood there, absorbing the moment. An owl hooted in the distance, startling him. He jumped, then took off running back to town. The next day, Kajito was back at his uncle's business when chaos erupted. 3 witches rode into town, casting spells wildly. Townspeople screamed and scattered. Kajito, hide! His uncle barked. Don't let them see you. Kajito ducked behind a crate, peering through the gaps. His uncle stood firm, facing the witches. You are not welcome here. This is a protected area, the uncle warned. Not anymore, the leader sneered. We're looking for the son of Kajito. Magic crackled in the air as the fight began. 3 against 1. The witches attacked in unison, forcing Kajito's uncle onto the defensive. Kajito's heart pounded. His uncle was struggling. Without hesitation, he sprinted toward Mira's house. He pounded on her door. It swung open. Mira! The town is under attack. My uncle needs help, he blurted out. Without a word, Mira ran with him toward the battlefield. The uncle staggered, panting. A blast of energy shot toward him. Before it could land, Mira countered with a spell of her own. The magic flashed, sending a shockwave through the air. The witches turned toward Mira, their eyes narrowing. What's going on? The leader asked. We're evening the odds, 3-on-3, Kajito declared, stepping up beside Mira and his uncle. He clenched his fists, flashing a confident smirk. Bring it on, witches. The uncle straightens up, shifting into a battle stance. Mira does the same. Kajito, unsure of what to do, strikes a comically exaggerated pose. As the six of them clash, the uncle and Mira fight with a seamless blend of magic and martial arts. Kajito, having no such skills, does his best to dodge attacks, weaving through the chaos more as a distraction than an actual combatant. Somehow, he manages to survive. As the fight drags on, the uncle and Mira synchronize their magic, striking one of the enemies with a powerful blast. She crumples to the ground, leaving two left. Working together, they take down the second one, turning their attention to the last, the leader. She had been chasing Kajito, frustration evident in her movements. Her focus wavers just long enough for Mira to strike. A pulse of magic sends the witch tumbling to the ground. I'm giving you this chance to leave, Mira says, her voice firm. Kajito rushes over, grinning. Oh yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about. He pumps his fist. Me and my girlfriend just whooped you ugly witches. The witch, still on the ground, starts laughing. Girlfriend? She shakes her head, her smile twisted. You think you're safe? She's cursed. Mira's expression hardens. Get out of here, she orders. The witch pushes herself up, clutching her arm, then retreats with her fallen allies. The uncle steps forward, nodding at Mira. Thank you for your help. Mira nods back. No worries. But then the uncle's expression shifts, curiosity flickering in his eyes. I have to ask, what's your last name? Mira hesitates for a moment before answering. Alexandria. I was suspecting, but now I know, the uncle said. Then the uncle's face drains of color. His hands tighten into fists. Kajito, let's go. His tone leaves no room for argument. Kajito frowns. Wait, what? She just helped us. Now. The uncle barks something in his foreign language, striding away. Kajito glances at Mira. I'll see you later. He whispers before following his uncle. Mira stands frozen as they leave, her expression unreadable. Back at home, the uncle shuts the door behind them. I know you're an adult. You have the right to choose your partner, but I do not approve if it's her. Why? Because she's a witch? Kajito challenges. No, because she's an Alexandria. Kajito crosses his arms. So? The uncle's jaw tightens. Anyone else, I could let it slide. Frustration boils inside Kajito. Why does it matter? You're not my dad anyway. The words hit hard, but the uncle doesn't flinch. His next words cut deeper. Your father, my brother, is dead because of the Alexandrias. Silence. Kajito's eyes widen. What? The person who killed him was Colmira Alexandria. She had a daughter. Mirakol Alexandria, your Mira, is her descendant. The uncle's voice is heavy with history. Our clans, Kyoza and Alexandria, have been at war for generations. Blood has been spilled on both sides. I will not allow you to be with her. Kajito shakes his head. That can't be true. Why didn't you tell me sooner? It is. Your mother wanted me to protect you. She wanted me to hide it from you, so you won't seek revenge. It's also the reason she didn't allow me to teach you magic. The Alexandrias will come for you, for us. Neither side is willing to let history be history. The uncle's gaze softens, but his voice remains firm. The Alexandrias have been hunting us, and we have been hunting them. Then why hasn't she tried to kill me? Kajito demands. Have you told her your last name? Kajito hesitates, then slowly shakes his head. The realization crashes over him. I have to see her. He turns toward the door. What did I just say? The uncle warns. I know, but I need to hear it from her. You might not make it home, the uncle cautions. Kajito exhales, sharp-fashion burning in his chest. He opens the door and slams it shut behind him. Kajito makes his way to Mira's house. Mira opens the door before Kajito even knocks. She isn't surprised to see him. She looks sad. Kajito steps inside. His voice is quiet but firm. Mirakol, my uncle told me everything. Your uncle was right. You should stay away from me. Mira's voice is steady, but there's a tremor in her eyes. Kajito studies her, his jaw tightening. I never told you my last name. Mira exhales slowly, her hands curling into fists. You didn't have to. From what your uncle said, I figured it out. His chest constricts. So it's true. Our clans have bad blood. Kajito's expression hardens. Your mother killed my father. The words land like a dagger. Kajito's fingers twitch, but he keeps his stance firm. Is that why you're doing this? Her voice is low, controlled. Do you want revenge? Kajito shakes her head. This isn't about revenge. Silence stretches between them, thick with unsaid words. Then Kajito steps closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "Do you love me?" Mira looks away. "I can't say those words," with regret written on her face. His throat tightens. "Why not?" Her breath quickens, her frustration breaking through. "Does it really matter?" Kajito's eyes search hers, desperate. "I need to hear it from you." Mira closes her eyes, willing herself to be strong. When she speaks again, her voice is quiet, as if saying it any louder will make it real. "Kajito, I'm cursed." He tenses. "What?" he asked. She swallows hard. "I was born under the Death Star. Anyone I love will die before their time. I'm destined to be alone." Kajito flinches, but his gaze never wavers. "Hot. If you believe that, why did you stay with me?" Mira exhales shakily, looking at him with something close to devastation. "I tried to fight it. I tried to push you away. But I can't. I want you too much." His hands clench at his sides. "Then say it." She hesitates. Her fingers twitch, reaching for him but stopping halfway. I don't want to lose you." Kajito exhales sharply, his voice cracking. "That's not enough." A beat of silence. Seeing Mira won't tell him what he wanted to hear. Then he steps back. Frustrated, Kajito sighed. "I'm a Kyoza. You're in Alexandria. We were never meant to be together anyway." The words taste like poison. He turns, walking toward the door. But just as he reaches it, he stops, shoulders tense, breath uneven. Without looking back, he says, voice thick with emotion, "I hate that I met you, because now you're all I want." Then he's gone. Mira stands frozen, her breath coming in shallow, uneven gasps, hyperventilating. Her hands clench at her sides, nails biting into her skin. She holds back her tears, trying to stay strong. The door is closed. He's gone. On the other side, Kajito walks away, his vision blurred with tears. He doesn't wipe them, he lets them fall. Days had passed without a sign of Kajito. The silence of his absence clung to Mira, heavy and suffocating. She found herself wandering to the lake, their lake, where laughter once filled the air, where stolen glances and whispered secrets had been shared beneath the moonlight. Now it was only her. She sat at the water's edge, arms wrapped around her knees as fireflies danced above the surface, their glow reflecting in the rippling water. A tear slipped down her cheek, falling into the lake, sending tiny waves outward. She stared into them, and for a moment, she saw his reflection behind her. Her breath caught. She spun around, hope surging, only to find nothing but empty darkness. A hollow pain twisted in her chest. She clenched her fists, whispered a spell through trembling lips, and released her magic in a burst of anguish. A flash of light struck the lake, sending shockwaves across the water. Fireflies scattered. The air vibrated with raw energy. The blast was just a distraction to her vision. The raw feelings were still present. Mira gasped, panting, her body trembling from the force of it all. But nothing had changed. He was still gone, and she was still alone. The next morning, she could no longer bear it. She needed to see him. The market was bustling with life, merchants calling out their wares, children weaving between stalls, but Mira saw only him. Kajito stood at his uncle's stall, arranging goods with practiced ease. Heart-pounding, she took a step forward, then stopped. A girl approached him, playful and confident. She poked him lightly on the back. Kajito turned, surprised, before laughing at whatever she said. The girl smiled, her fingers brushing his shoulder in a teasing gesture. Mira froze. Kajito shifted uncomfortably, shrugging off the touch, but the girl tried again, leaning in closer. He didn't reciprocate, but he also didn't push her away fast enough. Mira stood there, watching, her heart cracking at the edges. Then, without a word, she turned and walked away. She should be relieved. If he stayed away, he would never be cursed by her love. But it didn't feel like relief. It felt like loss. Tears welled in her eyes, but she forced herself to smile as she disappeared into the crowd. Another restless night passed. Kajito sat in his uncle's stall, but his mind was elsewhere. Guilt gnawed at him, Mira's face flashing in his thoughts, from his body language. The uncle can tell his mind was elsewhere. Finally, he turned to his uncle and sighed. "Uncle, I messed up." The older man looked up from his work. "What did you do?" "I hurt Mira," Kajito admitted, his voice laced with regret. "I said things I shouldn't have. I didn't mean them." His uncle studied him for a moment before nodding. "You really care for this girl, don't you?" "Care?" Kajito exhaled sharply, shaking his head. "I love her." His uncle's gaze hardened. "Love is a dangerous thing, boy. It can break you if you're not careful. It's best to avoid it if possible." Kajito jaw clenched. I'll stop loving her when the sun and moon disappear. I can tell your heart is stuck onto her. I may not agree with your selection, but I understand, the uncle said. Then he sighed. Then don't waste time, go to her. Thanks, uncle, or should I say dad? Kajito jokes. The uncle smiles at him. Uncle is fine, he says. Kajito didn't hesitate. He turned and made his way to Mira's house. This time, he wouldn't let her slip away. Kajito moved through the darkened woods, his heart heavy with regret. He had to make things right. But as he neared the outskirts of town, a chill ran down his spine. 3 shadowy figures emerged from the trees. The witches had returned, and their eyes burned with vengeance. Kajito didn't hesitate. He turned and sprinted back to town, his pulse pounding. He had to warn his uncle. Bursting into the house, he gasped, "They're here! The witches, they're coming!" His uncle's expression hardened. Without a word, he grabbed his sword and stepped outside to meet them. The witches descended upon the town like a storm, and the battle began. Kajito fought alongside his uncle, the two of them striking as one. Blades clashed, magic crackled through the air. With a swift, well-placed strike, they took down one of the witches. Her scream echoed into the night before she collapsed, lifeless. But victory was short-lived. The remaining witches retaliated. One cast a binding spell, shackling Kajito in invisible chains. The other struck his uncle, sending him staggering back with a deep wound. "Kajito!" The uncle roared as the witches dragged him away. Bleeding and weakened, the uncle forced himself to move. He had to get to Mira. He stumbled through the streets, each step a battle against his own failing strength. Reaching her house, he collapsed at her door, knocking weakly. Mira opened it, her gaze lowering to find him struggling on the ground. She knelt beside him, her voice urgent. "What happened?" "The witches? They took Kajito," he rasped, trying to pull himself up. Mira helped him inside and settled him into a chair. "Where did they take him?" The uncle's voice was strained. "The cave, where your mother fought." Mira stood, her jaw tightened, resolve hardening in her eyes. "Stay here." And then she was gone. Mira arrived at the cave, the air thick with energy. Kajito was bound, magic restraints glowing around his wrists. The leader of the witches, Camilla, stood over him with a smirk. "Does this man mean so much to you?" she asked. Mira stepped forward, eyes locked onto hers. "Release him, Camilla. He's innocent," Camilla sneered. "Innocent? He's a Kyoza. His bloodline must end." "The war is over. My mother fought for peace." Mira shot back. Camilla's lips curled. "Foolish girl. Your mother fought to stop the slaughter of our kind. That is not peace. That is survival." Kajito's voice broke through the tension. "Mira, why are you here?" "For you," she said without hesitation. Kajito's eyes softened. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said what I did. I just wanted to know if you loved me. If I can't be with you, I'd rather die." "Ah, a lover's dilemma." Camilla chuckled darkly. "Don't worry, you will die. She's cursed." "Shut up, you old hag," Kajito snapped. "Go do something else with your life." Camilla's face twisted with rage. She raised a hand, energy swirling at her fingertips. But Mira was faster. She fired a spell, forcing Camilla to leap back. The other witch attacked, launching a bolt of magic at Mira. Mira countered, their spells clashing in a burst of energy. In the chaos, Kajito struggled against his bonds, inching toward freedom. Mira fought hard, dodging and striking back, but the two witches overwhelmed her. A blast sent her tumbling to the ground right beside Kajito. Their eyes met. Camilla gathered a deadly spell, aiming to finish Mira off. Mira reacted instantly, sending her own magic forward. The two forces collided, energy crackling in the air. Their beams struggled in a tug of war. The second witch aimed at Mira, preparing to strike. Mira still struggling with the other witch. She couldn't defend herself. Kajito saw it. He didn't think. He ran, still bound, throwing himself into the path of the attack. The blast hit him full force, sending him crashing into the cave wall. The impact was deafening as the stone crumbled over him. "Kajito!" Mira screamed. Rage and sorrow surged through her, fueling her power. With all her might, she pushed against Camilla's magic, overpowering her. The force of her spell sent the witch flying backward. But Mira's victory felt hollow. Her breath hitched as she turned toward the pile of rubble where Kajito had fallen. "No, Kajito." The battle was not over, but nothing else mattered. The thought of Kajito dead in the debris was too much. Something inside her snapped. Mira's bloodline cursed energy raged like a storm, the color of her hair drained, her glowing white hair billowing wildly. The ground trembled. With a loud scream, she changed. Everything went blank, only the raw, untamed power of the curse controlling her. As her scream echoes through the cave, Mira stands there in her cursed form. As the air settles down, her hair flows ghostly into place. She turns at Camilla with a sinister grin. "Oh no," Camilla says in fear. "That form." Her voice trembled. "What's going on?" The other witch asked. Mira blinked to the other witch. She punched the witch before she can react, followed by a blast. The witch managed to dodge it at the last second. The energy hits a wall, the witch panting. "She's too fast," the witch said. Then Mira teleported to finish her. Mira's palm pointed at her face. Mira released her energy at point blank. "Disintegrate her into dust." Camilla eyes open wide in shock. Mira then turns to her. Mira's silent, cold stare can be felt. The air between them felt like gravity got heavier. Camilla in fear chants spells after spells at Mira. Mira slowly walks towards her, dodging her spells in a quick blink. Camilla gathers a big energy spell. Mira stands there taunting her to release the magic. "Die!" Camilla says before firing her blast. As it whooshed towards Mira, Mira simply lifts her palm up and stops the energy. The energy ball still trying to push into her, making her hair flow wildly. Mira squeezes her palm into a fist. The energy shatters into a million tiny dust. Camilla trembles in fear. A tense stare down. Camilla tries to charge another attack. Mira blinks to her standing in her face. Camilla startles. Shaking in fear, she throws punches at her. Mira dodges them with ease. Camilla winds up a punch. When she throws it, Mira simply catches her punch. Camilla shocked in fear. Mira tugs her fist, jerking her body forward. Mira lands a strong punch to her jaw, sending her flying back. Camilla lands on the walls, cracking the stone, then drops down. As soon as she looks up, Mira is already at her face again. Camilla swings again. Mira catches her arm and throws her across to the other side. Before Camilla can hit the other wall, Mira teleports behind her and hits her, sending her flying back. Mira then teleports, catching her on the other side with a mid-air kick into her back. Camilla flies from the impact, then tumbles on the ground, skidding to a stop. Camilla stands up to her knees. Mira charges a cursed energy in her palm. She fires. Camilla manages to dodge, but it scrapes her leg. She falls using the wall she lifted herself up, her legs bleeding as she hops to balance herself. Mira walks towards her as her white hair sways. When Mira arrives, she stands there just daring her to attack. Camilla, too afraid to attack. She simply accepts her fate. Mira sensing her defeat. She lifts her up with air magic as the magic squeezes her breath out. Camilla struggles in the air as she gasps for oxygen. Mira, with her other arm, she charges a huge cursed blast. Kajito managed to get out of the debris. He runs to the scene, surprised at the sight. Mira, hearing the footsteps, quickly turns her head with a grunt. Kajito, battered and bleeding, took a step forward. "Mira, it's me." His voice was strained but steady. "You know me." Mira turns her arm with the energy at him. The cursed energy coiled around her palm, pulsating like a living thing. The ground cracked beneath her feet. "Wait, Mira, stop!" Kajito screams. Camilla coughed. "She doesn't know who you are. She doesn't know who is friend or foe in that form. She's bewitched," Camilla says, choking the words out. The air crackled with deadly magic. But Kajito didn't move. "You don't have to say it," he murmured. "I know you love me, Mira. Just like fireflies speak without words, you showed me." Mira's fingers twitched. For a fraction of a second, her magic dimmed, a flicker of hesitation. Mira drops Camilla down as she focuses onto Kajito. Kajito reached out, his hand trembling. "Come back to me." Mira blinked her eyes, stares at nothing, fighting internally. Then she screamed. The magic around her exploded, engulfing everything in darkness. Before Kajito could react, the shockwave of her scream struck him square in the chest, hurling him backward. He slammed into the stone wall with a sickening crack, blood spraying from his lips. Mira teleported, appearing in front of him in an instant. Grabbing his collar, she charges another blast in her palm. She stops, as it seems she's fighting to remember. "I don't believe it." Camilla says, trying to stand up. She is trying to control the cursed form. Mira lifts Kajito up and tosses him into the wall. She releases her blast, another blast, and another. Each strike burned through him, tearing away flesh, ripping apart his body. His breath hitched, his knees buckled. Blood dripped from his mouth as he gasped for air. Still, he smiled. "Mira," his voice was barely a whisper, "it's okay." She reared back her hand, gathering all of her cursed magic into one final, devastating attack. The ground trembled beneath them, wind howling in a vicious spiral. The sheer force of it sent cracks spiderwebbing through the cave. Then, she withdrew the energy. A surge of emotion snaps her back into her normal form. Her hair slowly regained its dark color. For a moment, time stood still. She looked around, then put the pieces together. Then, his body fell. He crumpled to the ground, motionless. Mira's breath came in ragged gasps, her hands trembling. Her magic flickered. Reality sank in. She stared at her hands, her shaking hands, still tainted with his blood. Her gaze slowly moved to the lifeless body sprawled before her. No. Her voice cracked. She stumbled forward, falling to her knees beside him, her hands pressed against his wounds as if she could hold him together, as if she could undo what she had done. Kajito, her voice was barely a whisper. His body was still warm, but his chest did not rise. Mira puts her ear on his chest to hear his heartbeat. Nothing. I can't hear your heartbeat. I can't hear it. Mira spoke to him, her voice trembling. His eyes, those bright, lively eyes, were now dull, lifeless. Her breath hitched. No, 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 no. She shook him. Wake up. No response. She pressed her forehead against his, rocking his body gently. Please, she choked. Wake up. Say something. Anything. Silence. Tears dripped down her face, falling onto his bloodied skin. Her chest ached, a hollow, gaping wound of its own. Kajito! Her scream pierced the night, raw and broken, when she cradled him in her arms, rocking back and forth. I'm sorry, she whispered, her voice trembling. I'm so sorry. Camilla, still injured, watched in stunned silence, watching in sympathy. Mira held Kajito close, pressing her lips against his forehead, her sobs muffled against his skin. I love you, she whispered. I love you so much. But he would never hear it. He was gone, the one person who had ever truly seen her. Gone. The uncle and Mira buried him by the lake, where the fireflies danced. They both agreed that Mira should leave the area. The uncle said his final farewell and stepped away. Mira stood in front of his grave, the wind brushing against her tear-streaked face. Kajito, she swallowed hard, gripping her arms as she stared at the dirt covering him. You were so full of life, she whispered. Even when things were falling apart, you always smiled. A tear slipped down her cheek. You made me feel like I wasn't alone, even when I was cursed to be. Her voice broke. Thank you for making me once happy. I'm sorry for not letting you love me. For that, I will never forget you. You will always be in my heart. No one will ever replace you. Goodbye. A soft glow flickered nearby. A firefly drifted past her, circling the grave before floating toward the sky. Another followed. Mira watched them, her fingers clutching her cloak. She wiped her tears. It was time to go. She swings her hood over her head with a swift movement. With one last look at his resting place, she turned away and walked into the night. End of part 2.